It's the most intimidating obstacle to any freelance career. I'm not talking about learning a new skill or doing all the work. I'm not even talking about how to figure out how to pay your taxes. I'm talking about getting your first client. Because once you do that, even if you still spend more than 90% of your time at another job or in school, you're officially a freelancer. And that's the path that can lead to not just an exceptional income, but also true freedom. My name's Henry Bingaman. I've been a freelancer for over 16 years. In the beginning, I had to struggle to learn everything the hard way. And I went from almost giving up and going broke to an extremely high income, over $1 million in a year. Now, on top of my client work, I make videos like these to help other freelancers and aspiring freelancers earn a better living and enjoy their work more. So why does getting your first client make so many people feel as petrified as a cat at a dog show? Well, it's probably the catch-22 feeling of it. Most clients want you to have some experience, but you can't get experience without clients. So how do you break out of that doom loop and land your very first high-paying freelance client? Let me go through 5 quick ways. The first is to leverage your existing network. Chances are you know somebody that runs a business, or somebody in your family or friend group knows somebody that runs a business. Depending on what your skill is, that is the perfect place to start. A lot of people are nervous to tell their friends and family that they're starting out freelancing. They're too afraid that they'll be judged by their friends and their family and the people that know and love them, that they don't want to tell them that they're trying this new weird thing called freelancing. But that's a big mistake, because your biggest supporters are going to be your family and friends. They're going to be the ones that are most excited to help, especially in those early days. So tell them what you're doing, what types of skills you're offering, and ask, hey, do you know anybody that could use my expertise, my services here? And you can say, look, I'm just starting out. I don't want to charge a lot. I'm not going to go over the top. I just want to get my first handful of clients. And that is how most people get their first clients. It's how I got mine. It was a friend of my dad's, a chiropractor that also sold some supplements. So my dad made the introduction. I created a little pitch for him, and I ended up getting a nice little job. So your existing network, it is the best place to start. The second place is in-person conferences and events. Even in the early days, when I could barely afford to, I would travel down to conferences and different events to try and meet people and network. In fact, my second client that I ever had, I got at an in-person event. They did a presentation on their Google ad strategy, and I went up to them and I eventually ended up pitching them a Facebook ad strategy. It was a very low dollar project, but it ended up being a good client that I worked with for actually many years. The third way to get your first client, join groups of other freelancers. Not clients, not industry groups, other freelancers. And it's especially good if they're doing related work, but not the exact same work as you. So for example, if you write copy for websites, it's great to partner up with designers who do freelance work for designing websites. Complementary skills are the easiest to network with. So writers and designers, coders and designers, programmers and developers, all these people can team up and recommend each other to their respective clients. The problem if you join networks of freelancers doing the exact same thing as you is that it's all competition. Now, I've still gotten referred a lot of writing work from other freelance writers, but it's much easier to recommend someone that complements what you're doing, doesn't directly compete with it. So join groups of other freelancers. You can find them on Facebook. There's private groups. I have a private freelancer group that comes with my course Breaking Free, link in description. So networking with other freelancers, that's number 3. Number 4, really just start small. Look, if you're a brand new freelance illustrator, you probably don't want to go after Disney as your first client. It's just not going to work out. Start with somebody that has maybe a lower budget and also much lower expectations. It's way better to exceed expectations with your first client than to try to get somebody a little too big and let them down. The thing about smaller clients, if they're your first clients, is they can recommend you to people their size and slightly bigger. This is one of the ways you climb the income ladder. You start small and you incrementally get bigger and bigger as your skills grow. And number 5 is cold outreach. Now look, I hate cold outreach.
Brother, what's that?
In my early days, somebody told me, if you cold call 100 names, I guarantee you'll get a client. And I did. I followed a script. I had a whole process prepared. I called 100 people and I got 100 no's, and some were much more polite than others. But cold outreach, cold email, and cold calling can absolutely work. I've seen dozens of people have successful freelance careers starting that way. The secret, if you're doing cold outreach, is to demonstrate your ability. There's nothing more powerful than a good demonstration. So let's say you're doing cold outreach as a graphic designer. I would create the best graphic I could for a specific prospective client. And then I would email it to them as an example of work you've done. And even if they don't use that exact thing you've designed, they understand your skill and you've demonstrated your abilities. Now, here's the cool thing. That company cannot use that image without paying you. You still own the copyright to it. But that means you can put it in your portfolio, and that demonstration builds up your other marketing efforts. All right, now once you start getting clients, you're gonna need to make them feel like they made the right choice by hiring you. And that means you need the right tools. So I wanna show you the 5 free tools that every freelancer should use when they're starting out. You'll look like a total pro, your projects will go more smoothly, and you'll scale your income way faster. To get these, just go to henrybing.co/free tools. You grab them there, it's totally free. The link is in the description as always. And if you really want to impress your future clients, once they see you're subscribed to this channel, they're going to be like 18% more likely to want to work with you. That's not true at all, but click the subscribe button and find out if maybe there is some chance. All right, go land that first client and I'll catch you in the next one.